The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my worth, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up wider. Listen.
Hey everybody, it's Casey with Pinecase. Tonight, or this afternoon, I guess, I'm hanging out with DJ Robbie Robb. You know what? I just realized I think it's gonna run that audio through your speakers, my darling. So I'm gonna pull myself down for 2 seconds.
The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my worth, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up wider. Listen.
All right, as my friend, and I know that we're live, but I'm gonna pick your brain a bit because you actually have a lot of experience with like
The audio is cutting out.
and the audio keeps running double audio.
Oh, it keeps on running double green on your one?
Yeah.
It's down to like 20 for the volume on here, so oh shit, are we live too?
All right, let's try that. Yeah, I apologize for everybody. And honestly, I wouldn't do it, but because we know each other so well, and you're Thank you. How
Oh,
did that
yeah.
go? Yeah, that's better.
Perfect.
Beautiful. Uh, oh,
We good?
okay, hold on. You stay right where you are.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to throw your phone on landscape for me, Rob, that would be deadly.
On what, sorry? Or on airplane mode? Sorry, turn it on what? Oh, landscape. Okay. All right, landscape. Um,
The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my worth, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up, brighter. Listen.
Hey everybody, it's Casey with Pinecase. Thank you so much for sticking with us through the technical difficulties. This one's a really important one to me, and I was not about to give up. Like, listen, when I talk about things that are near and dear to my heart, that are right back to where we need to be in our community and helping people and supporting local talent, and getting out there and actually just being a staple in probably everybody's youth from my generation, from like the north end of the island or even the south end of the island, depending on how far you are, where you're about to travel. Today I have DJ Robbie Robb with me, and I'm super, super, super excited, honored, and flattered that he'd come and kick it with us at Pinecase, both BC and Alberta. Without further ado,
hey,
Robbie now.
everybody. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for that intro, and I love that. And yeah, no, I've always got so much love for you and Pinecase and everything. And yeah, hey, everybody.
Yeah, no, it goes without saying. When I think about some of the reasons why this project even started, you're definitely one of the staple pieces, and it's been really interesting because as this has evolved, the stories that come up that people talk about, you seem to be one of those reoccurring themes throughout those stories. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we need to make sure that he comes on here. And what a better reason, but to highlight this amazing project that you have going on. Do you mind telling us a little about what Party with a Purpose is all about and what you're trying to achieve with it?
So since last year, I was working a security contract downtown Campbell River. I would deal with a lot of people that were unhoused and that were just hard on their luck. And part of my contract was working through city bylaw as well. I met a lot of these people. A lot of people are people that I knew from a long time ago and everything like that. And it became not just a job to me. It became something that I wanted to help with the downtown core and just do what I could for it. And so that's why I just decided, well, I can throw some shows at Spirit Square and I can just have it so that they can dance and we can get the fundraising going. Clothing drive wise, we probably raised about 600 or 700 bags of clothing donations downtown so far. And so it was a continual thing that I just wanted to keep doing because excuse me, I get to DJ with a lot of people that I admire so much in the DJ community and see people that I just started to get to spin with and everything. Because I've always had residencies at bars and nightclubs and everything like that. So I've been kind of exiled out of the whole music scene for that because I've just was always working before. And so any possible opportunity that I had to get a show going on and everything like that, everybody's just also pumped. That's why there's so many DJs that are like, hey, I just want to throw down a set and just help out and everything like that. And so it's just why I continue to do those kind of shows and everything like that, just because, I mean, I get to do what I love, and that's playing music, and I get to also help people, which I just feel I just want to do and just try and do more, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, well said. It's probably, a common conversation, especially with musicians and DJs and people that get out there, because you guys are in that atmosphere all the time and you get to see, people kind of evolve. And when not all of those stories evolve to the way that you want to, I can't imagine not wanting to like reach out. What is it like? Like, I don't want to say like, what is it like dealing with the unhoused, but what is it so much like? What things can we do as a community to kind of help support some of those situations?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's all good.
What I would say is to try and reduce the stigma that people have that everybody on the streets is all either drug dealers or alcoholics, or people have their own sort of circumstances. Not everybody's like that. Some people are down there because there's just nowhere else they can go. Whatever their circumstance and everything like that, I don't want to treat anybody differently than anybody else. And that's the biggest thing I can recommend to anybody, is just treat anybody like you would anybody else, especially to you, or even that. Just help thy neighbor and everything like that. And just try to think of people in a different light and just know that they went through a lot, and just that could be anybody at any time.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Especially with the way that, I don't want to get into the politics of it and inflation and all that stuff, but man, like, I don't think people have been closer to like a paycheck away from really being in those situations as they are, today. Like, there just isn't much of a buffer left at all, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's definitely, I mean, the way things are now with inflation and everything like that, that's why people need to come together more and just try and help out more, because, I mean, if people can't afford their own rent and everything like that, and there's people that can't even afford their own food and all that kind of stuff, it's like you can find a way and everything like that. It's I don't know.
No, you're not wrong.
It's just one of those things where it's just like, I mean, and I've been raised in a family where everything is just like, if anybody's cold, you offer them a sweater. If anybody's hungry and hasn't eaten, then you offer them a plate of food and everything like that. And that's one of the biggest things about me and my Indigenous culture, is that even with all the generational trauma and everything like that, we still want to help out the next person and just do what you can, right?
It's something that's missing in a lot of places. And I talk about it a lot on the show. Like, if I have carrots and you have potatoes, right? Or like if I have eggs and whatever, because people underestimate the things that might be useful to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, we got closets full of stuff, and we might be trying to hold on to it for some sort of sentimental thing or whatever. But the reality is like those jackets, or those, those shoes, or those socks that maybe haven't really been worn all that much or utilized all that much. It's a big difference to somebody that doesn't have those,
Oh, definitely. And that was why I wanted, like, last week we had the burning for my brother who passed away, who dealt with a lot of mental health issues and everything like that. We used a lot of his clothes for the burning, but at the same time, we kept a lot of them as well, too, because we were going to give them to the clothing drive and everything like that. because we knew something like that would mean a lot to another person, and that's something that he would want to have had done too. So, I mean, instead of just sitting on stuff and all that kind of, and everything, it's better to just give it to somebody that's in need, right?
Yeah, that's beautiful. My respects, obviously. I don't know what's going on. I remember being a kid, and when someone passed away, it was like it is still a big deal, but they were few and far between, and it was always like, you know, someone's grandparents, or there was like a freak accident. But these numbers right now seem to just be absolutely staggering, and yeah, I mean, not to say to utilize those situations, but if we can maybe take little pieces and let them grow into big solutions for others, like what a beautiful thing. So
Oh, definitely, especially when there's just, I mean, you almost get desensitized to how much loss there is now and everything like that. Like, it's sad, and I mean everything, and that's why you gotta just definitely just invest in your time and your friends, and just anytime you think that anybody's on doing bad, or if they're not doing well mentally and everything like that, check on them and everything. And that's why I'm glad to talk on your podcast, because mental health is something that's just been thinking about a lot lately, right? So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, when we started this, the goal was to like create a space where, you know, people could relate, right? Everyone, historically, we've had kind of the same idea of what mental health looks like. And it was just like, man, we all are going through this, and we all have found creative ways, you know, creative solutions and things like that. And, you know, I'm not to take away from any of the kind of tried, tested, and true solutions, like, you know, meditating and, you know, all the things that come with self-care, but also to highlight the other ones. Like, you know, sometimes you just got to get up and get going, or, you know, sometimes you just need to play that music, or sometimes you just need to scream, and like that's okay too, right?
oh, definitely, just always find different ways to uplift yourself every day. That's a big thing, right? And try to uplift others as well too. I mean, that's that's always a big thing as well.
Definitely.
Not
So
like
with
me and my friends, who sometimes we are incredibly mean to each other when we're always talking. So the exact opposite of that.
But you know what is funny is like, guys, especially if you guys aren't picking at each other and like throwing shit back and forth, then it's like you don't love each other. You know, like there is something to be said for that the kind of culture that surrounds men in general. I hear it all the time in my household, you know, and it's like, hey, whatever, like, and I'm like, what? But they're like, that's the way that they communicate, and it would be lack of that kind of like shit talk back and forth that would start raising some concern. Like, why aren't you feeding, you know, why aren't you giving it back to me? Like, what's going on, you know? So I don't know.
Exactly. We have some mutual friends that would definitely, especially my friend Charles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely times calling him and saying, you know what, I never liked you. And he'd be like, sober up. I know you're right.
That's hilarious. Well, and you know what? It like leave it to friends to like say the hard things. I think we need to do that more often too. You know, I mean, that all jokes aside, like just practicing those like tough conversations. Like right now we're in a state of emergency. Like you know, the whatever the case may be, we can put it under the umbrella term that is mental health. Like we are absolutely in a state of emergency, and it's like, you know, sometimes you have to say the hard and the rough things to each other to like to get the point across, right? Like not everything is maybe solved with soft encouragement, right?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it just takes just a lot of just effort, and then just finding a way, just kind of just build it up, right? And that's the biggest thing, is also always build up your friends and build up yourself, especially. That's what's key to mental health, right?
Absolutely. That's beautiful. So tell me a little bit about Party with a Purpose. You guys, like, let's talk about the location and the times and all of that good stuff.
So with it being fall now, and because it's going to be super cold out, I mean, I love doing the ones at Spirit Square, but there was some issues about having it there. Just a lot of different kinds of things to navigate. So I decided to do them at a venue, which will be the Eagles Hall.
Okay.
That's going to be on Saturday, October the 12th. We are doing tickets for it. With any proceeds or anything like that, anything that's made off of the event, that's actually going towards stocking up the community kitchen in Campbell River with food. The clothing drive, of course, is ongoing and everything like that. It's just a way to have fun, and I got some amazing DJs and can't wait to hear All Good play again. Guys representing Canada in the world scene and everything, and won like every turntable championship there is. So super psyched to have him play, and just all of the DJs that want to play, including myself. It's just for a great time and a great cause, right?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's so exciting. I love it. What is your intention with, taking the time to highlight, the youth? Like, I see DJ Lion on a lot of your bills. Like, a lot of promoters and production companies don't really take the time to do that.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing to me was that talking to Calico and everything, and I saw that he was an aspiring DJ and everything. And so with that, I saw him that he was going to play, and I had All Good playing on my last fundraiser, and that's his childhood hero and DJ hero. So I was like, you know what, this will be awesome. And then we also worked it out to give him some money to go towards the bursary from Pinecase and everything, so he can get himself a new flight decks and everything like that. And it's just like, especially with a lot of the people that I had met from the downtown core and everything like that, like I treated them like they're my homies, they're my friends, they're my family. That might have got me into a little bit of an issue with the previous security employment, but that also is just something I'm just not going to back away from, because I mean, no matter what, I mean, I just want to do what I can to just be solid, and then just help out how I can and everything like that. And they've always been extremely supportive, and yeah, I mean, it's just all love, right? So and they always send me like little clips of them rapping and everything like that, and I'm like, that's dope. just always get like these random clips of like people rapping and everything. I'm like, yeah, they'll sound good on the beat and everything like that. And then just, and it's just awesome that they always have me in mind when they're thinking of music and everything like that. And it's just, yeah, and this is a good feeling to just kick it with people and then just hear what's going on and everything. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's so true to the music community. Maybe not the music industry, but the music community. Like, they're really good at, inclusion and making sure that everybody has the space. Historically, I know, with clubs and pubs and things like that, it can be challenging to get like the youth in there. But with these, these kind of community events at the hall and out at Spirit Square, like, it makes sense. It makes sense to have the youth in the audience as well, right? Like, that's why I really enjoy the way that you put your shows together. I think they're so family orientated, and that's a really beautiful thing.
Oh, definitely. I mean, each DJ's got their own style, and I mean, a little bit. One of the sets and everything at the last fundraiser, got a little bit overboard with the with the swearing on it, but I was like glad that the families that were there were like, "Oh no, it's still a dope set and everything." I'm like, "Okay, well, let's just forget about the F part."
Well, and you know what? I mean, not that I promote a ton of swearing, but we grow up in these houses, and it is a way of expression, right? Like, I say to my kid, like, you're not allowed, I'm not into you swearing all the time, but when you're singing, if you're, singing a song or whatever, it's kind of hard to be like, oh, you can sing the whole thing, but not that word.
Oh,
but I feel that way about a lot of words. So,
I mean, the last wedding that I was DJing at probably about 2 weeks ago, I had to play Moni Moni for him. And of course, you fade it down. Hey, well, and then, of course, there's like a 70-year-old that's singing along to it, screaming along. Like, yes, that is it.
Somebody's grandma. That's awesome.
There was also a show for the Snotty Nose Res Kids. Shout out to the Snotty Nose Res Kids. I love doing that show with them. But they did an all ages show at the Tide Mark in Campbell River. And of course, the funniest sight to see, and of course, like the best feeling is getting to see families just enjoying the music together. And here's like a newborn baby that's on the shoulders of the mom, and they're singing along to the song, like, "Hey, motherfucker," and just like, this is a great family show, right? the toddler's just like giving her to him. Like, oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's so wicked. I love that. I mean, I to see Snotty Nose, I don't know if that was, I don't believe that was their first show there. We actually sent, like Pinecase sent DJ Lion to that show because, you know, it's good for him to get out and see kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
But man, the Tide Mark's been really great at like highlighting people from all over the place with like all sorts of backstories and stuff. So it's been really great to see that happening.
Oh, definitely.
I got mad love for that place. It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they've been great. And yeah, no, it's just yeah.
Very cool. So 400 bags of clothes is what I read on the GoFundMe page, but you had mentioned maybe the number might be a little bit bigger than that.
I've been constantly updating. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I've just been constantly updating it as it goes. Like these have been a series of shows that I put on. It's just been adding on to it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, man, we've been friends too long for you to be apologizing and stuff like that.
Been homies forever.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so do you have to attend the show to donate clothing?
No, you don't. There is a GoFundMe that's ongoing. I called it Sun Up at the Square Foundation. That is what's ongoing. I set the bar pretty high, and of course it is pretty expensive to try and feed everybody, but I've just been incorporating everything fundraising wise to try and just have it so that we can try to just do more shows and try to do more fundraisers. And then just, I mean, the biggest thing is, I mean, we're doing it for a great cause, but we're also doing it because we love music and it gives us a platform. And also, so, I mean, people can donate anywhere, anytime on the GoFundMe. And it's just going towards an ongoing effort to just trying to, because I'm very close with everybody that's downtown. Like Quisa Place is run by my friend Sean DeCare. And so that's why any clothing drives I do for them. And the community kitchen right next door is run by my band, which is Waywickham. So my band has been actively involved in a lot of different fundraising events and stuff like that. So everybody's just come together with that kind of stuff and everything. So anybody can actually go to the GoFundMe, Sun Up at the Square, and they can donate at any time. And yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I got the I do have the link for the GoFundMe in the comment section. You guys go and check it out. Head down there. And like DJ Robbie Robb said, like not only is it going to a good cause, but we need to feed the DJs too, you know, like we need to make sure that they have the space and all the resources to get out there and to be able to host these events. It's such a loveless situation when it really comes down to it, because you know, in a space like this, everybody's out there sweating and doing it purely for the love of music. So every little bit helps. Don't hesitate to donate just because it's only $5. That all adds up and it makes a massive difference on the back end. So please, please, please go check out the link. The other link that we want to make sure that's in the comment section is the ticket price. So the way that I was reading it, I just wanted to put this out there to make sure that everyone's on the same page. The ticket price is $25.
Yes.
Okay. But you are running a sale today.
Yeah, so I did a flash sale on them, and that's just because I want to get as many tickets out there as possible for people, and just so that they can enjoy the show and everything. So I dropped them down to the ridiculously low price. They're just $15 right now.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it costs $15 just to leave the house. So I mean, $15 is no big deal. You guys get out there and enjoy the show. The show is up at the Eagles Hall. You guys can go and do the clothing drive. You don't have to buy tickets to jump in there. You can bring clothes from 3 to 6 o'clock. So that's all great. And then what can everybody look forward to for entertainment?
For entertainment, of course, they got such an eclectic group of DJs that are going to be planning their own different sets. DJ Lion's going to be opening the show for it as well, too. So big ups to Calico and Pinecase and DJ Lion there. He's going to be opening her up again, too. And I got, like, I think a total of 9 DJs total. Everybody just wanted to hop on board because, like, that's the greatest thing about this whole music community is that I was always somewhat kind of segregated from like a lot of the different kind of like music events and everything because of my residencies at like either Voodoo Lounge or JJ's and stuff like that. So I didn't really get to like dip my feet into the other kind of stuff going on, and I just found out that there's so much more of a music scene in Campbell River and Courtney that people don't know about.
Right. You're talking about like the live music scene that's happening kind of more in like a, I don't want to say acoustic style, but that's that doesn't necessarily.
I just mean like the Waverly and all the different shows that are going on that people don't know about because it's not in a nightclub or whatnot. That's the sad part about them having no venues in Campbell River or Courtney right now, is that it's just, well, you need to have something, especially when the youth is always going to need more music and everything like that, and learn from the music that they're listening to. And yeah, it's just, there needs to be more outlets for people to listen to live music.
Yeah, and also from different spaces. Like I think it's great that you're out there, because there really is. I mean, the Tide Mark has it down packed, but really for outside stuff, they just run that program in the summer, right? Which obviously I understand, but those are some pretty, I don't want to say that they're bigger than what you're doing, because that's not it. I just mean they're not really showcasing or highlighting a ton of local talent. Like when we're talking about like, you know, Dizzy and everybody like that, right? And so yeah,
Oh,
you're
definitely
absolutely right.
Shout out Dizzy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you want to talk about consistency, like
oh, definitely. That guy's always on the hustle. I love it. That's why I always have him in pretty much all my shows.
Yes. Yeah. No, and I love that. I think that's what's exciting about it, is that not only does it feel like comfort because you guys all support each other and highlight each other in each other's shows, but because you're so familiar and comfortable with each other, then it kind of gives that supportive space to try some new stuff and things like that. So not only is it like, you know, pretty casual, but we get to see like little bits and pieces that you wouldn't necessarily put out in any other space. So yeah,
oh, definitely. And that's one of the things about music now too, and especially with the live shows and everything, is you can spend all that money on grabbing tickets to a show in Vancouver or something like that, but when you know there's like so many different live shows that are going on with artists that you're not familiar of, or maybe your friends that have bands and everything like that, people definitely need to start just supporting their friends or DJs or musicians and everything like that more. That's definitely one of the biggest things that's needed for music and mental health, especially, is just building up your friends and just like trying to get as many people at our shows as possible and everything like that too, right? That's why I always try to tell people about Dizzy and everybody else that I know that's got stuff going on, is because yeah.
Yeah, agreed across the board. Not to switch gears a little bit,
yeah,
but I do have a couple personal questions. So first of all, what inspired you to start DJing in the first place?
DJing in the first place, that was way back when I was like really young. That was just me just getting out of high school. And I'm not going to say the name of the bar or anything like that, but I actually started promoting one when I was a little bit underage at that time. And then I started listening to more and more music and everything. And then I actually had my first residency when I turned 19, when I was in Vancouver too. So it just started way back then. And it just continued to be something that I'm actively involved in. And yeah, it's always been my passion, and it's going to be the business that I start as well too. And it's just always going to be something I'm going to be progressing at, and then just keep on building my craft, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always wondered like what happened before where we kind of know you from, you know what I mean? Like, how does one just like, do you just get a job like that? Or like, do you start it, you know, because unless you're kind of passionate about music, or at least tolerant of music, these are not easy kind of step into places.
Yeah. And that's definitely the thing about it, is I definitely wanted to give some anecdotes about how I'd actually pursue that and everything. Yeah. But the reality is that my gigs, like especially starting at like Voodoo Lounge when I had a residency there, that all came about because I dropped off a resume to a liquor store that one of the managers was working at in Campbell River. And then they called me about DJing at Voodoo Lounge right after. So biggest thing is that I could recommend is that you just always stay on the hustle, especially like my friend Dizzy, like we were saying. He's got his demos and beats and everything like that for anytime anybody wants to hear it. So if anybody's looking to get into music and everything like that, just always have it available and ready anytime you're ready to just show people what you're into or what you love and all that, right?
Yeah, stay available. Keep those mixtapes on hand, because it used to be straight out of the trunk of the car, or straight out of the backpack, or like, whatever you needed to do. And obviously technology makes it a little bit more convenient, but at the same time, like, you got to be ready to go. Like,
Oh, definitely. I was in Vancouver, and I was on my way back from, I think it was coming back from the Wu-Tang and Nas concert. And there was a guy that I think he was probably like about maybe 65, 70 years old. And he had like a card he was pushing around with him, that he had his Instagram pictures, and he also had his bio from, he's a musician as well too.
yeah.
So he was like saying, "Oh, I'm a musician and everything like that. If you take a pic with me for like $5 or whatever," he's like, "you could support me and getting into music and everything again and everything." I was like, "Oh, here's $10 or whatever, and I'll give you a shout out on your Insta and everything like that." Just showing that no matter what age you are, it's just like people have a passion for music, and they'll always stay on the hustle no matter what, right?
That's really cool. So what happens, like, what do you gotta, what happens when things aren't going your way? Like, what kind of things do you do to keep yourself encouraged? I mean, having a residency, obviously, it made it a little bit easier to kind of slide into, um, a permanent space in the industry. But what about these people that are out here grinding, grinding, and grinding? Like,
Yeah, there's a lot of things that, I mean, me myself, what I started to try and do is just focus on music more. That was one of the biggest things of me getting involved into the whole EDM scene and everything like that, and playing with so many different DJs, that like I was in a bad place before, and that was after my brother had passed. So yeah, that was a bit of like a lot of depression at that time. But once I started meeting everybody in that musical community and everything, it helped, because I got to like think of different ways I can incorporate different kinds of music or anything like that, or what kind of shows I could do and everything. It just expanded my horizons and everything. Biggest thing I would recommend for people that are on the grind and that they're just not doing too well, just reach out to your friends, and then just also just be like, just, even if you don't even have to say, "Hey," I would like drop the bomb on them and be like, "Hey, I need to talk like this and that." Just have a conversation and just gradually flow from there, right?
yeah, it's that stigma you were talking about earlier. And I mean, there's the stigma on both sides of it, right? Like, not judging people, but then also feeling comfortable enough to say something without people judging you in return.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things, is people are afraid to talk to people sometimes, is because of the way that they think they're going to be judged. And that just needs to go, especially with us trying to focus on more mental health and everything like that. It's just, don't even think about people in a different light other than just they're a person, they're a human being.
It's funny. Not that it's really my place to be like surprised, but I always love when people have like a predetermined opinion about me, and then proving it all wrong. Like, I just, like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like no matter what place I am in my life, like, I love to be able to use, my story and things like that to be like, you know what? It's not what you think, actually. Or like coming in with like a suit and, like my power suit, and just like, I got my business card, on the hustle, on the grind, blah, blah, and then tell people my story, and they're like, wait, what? Like, okay, wait a second. Like, gotcha. Like, and it's not even maybe a gotcha moment, but like, if that changes that one person's opinion about people that they encounter throughout their life, then I'm here for it, like.
Oh, definitely. I mean, people always have these preconceived notions of me. It was probably because they're shit posting Facebook and everything like that. that I'm probably like the biggest asshole there is or something like that. But I'm actually pretty nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. That's so funny. Oh, that's cool. Well, and also like it's funny because people can take what you post on Facebook and really run with it, right? Like, they're like, "Man, that's really that person's opinion," and like, that person really be out here like that, and like, I don't know. Like, sometimes it's just like to put up a bit of a buffer between you and everybody, right? Like,
yeah. Well, also that's the thing with also DJs and everything like that. A lot of times you have especially with me being used to use it. Sorry, with having worked at a strip club as a resident DJ for so long, that yeah, you have to have a bit of a persona as well too, right? So I mean, have a little fun with it at the same time.
Yeah, unapologetically. Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about this residency thing, because all I keep thinking is, does it take away a little bit of like creative freedom? Like, how does that work with somebody who is maybe like, trying to exercise their right to be creative in a space like that, where maybe that's not what it was.
Residencies, they have become more along the lines of, I don't think they're as common now. But that's also because of how many different bands and artists and DJs there are out there. And I mean, COVID hit really hard, right? And so with that, they're just, I don't think there's very many set residencies that are out there. And to be completely honest, when I was in those residencies, it really alienated me from a lot of the different kind of musical community because I was there all the time. You can only play Notorious Big, Hypnotized, and Party Rock Anthem so many times, I guess, and it just really put a whole kind of like lid on what you could do musically. I mean, that's one of the biggest things, and that's why I like shows so much more than those residencies I mentioned before, because you get to put a lot of your own time and effort in there and everything like that, and I mean, you can be blessed to have different clubs and everything like that, and that's why I got shows coming up at Level 2 nightclub in Nanaimo as well.
I've seen that. Congratulations.
Thanks, and I'm looking forward to it because it's also a place where I can build stuff with a lot of the DJs I'm working with and everything. And Josie that I met that does the promotions and everything like that has been so cool. It's like, yeah, well, it's totally collab on a lot of different stuff out there and everything. So I mean, residencies, yeah, they come and go, but I mean, getting these different kind of club shows and everything and getting to put your own input and then work with other people, that's like the best way to go.
Yeah, that's neat. It's not something I'm like super familiar with. And when, when I hear the word residency, I'm like, I think of like Vegas and how I'm like, okay, obviously people get to stick around for a little while, and it kind of gives you that space to really, cultivate and kind of mine out like the persona that is, whoever you want to be. What are some of the things that inspired you to be DJ Robbie Robb? Like, what are some of the things that you kind of were like, this is something I definitely want to make sure that people know about me as a DJ, or things that, like what kind of things help build your persona and personality?
A lot of things that I would probably say off first is the whole fact that with the residencies that I had before, especially JJ's Pub and all that, it was very, very constrained in a lot of this kind of stuff that I could play. I mean, that was one of the only places where I could literally play like maybe like a 10-minute set, and then I'd have to queue it up for the next person going on stage. So that was a really stressful time with having to do that. But I mean, I still had a lot of fun working there. But biggest thing I want people to take away from shows that I go to and everything like that is I put a lot of time into the music that I'm playing with the people that I'm playing with and everything like that. I want him to know that this guy, Robbie Robb, he can actually spin some shit.
Oh, that's because DJs do kind of get, like, I've heard like, wow, if you have a residency, you just come in and press play, and it's like not even a big deal. Like, how many times have you heard that in your life? Probably a few, eh?
Oh, quite a few. And I remember the bar that when I used to be DJing at Voodoo Lounge, and then after I had left from there was one night me and my friends went in there, and there literally was a DJ that was playing off Spotify that just had the playlist going in the background. And I was like, whoa. It's like, this is what it came to now.
That's kind of it's a taboo subject, right? Like, yeah, there's a lot of history that goes with being a DJ, and I'm sure there's a lot of like respect that you want to put into that when you're talking about like honoring a whole genre of music, eh?
Yeah, and I also want them to know I'm not playing LMFAO 10 times a night. Right? It's like, no. I only have to play it once. I am sexy, and I know it. That's the last time I'm going to play it right now. No more.
That's so good. Oh, yeah. Interesting. So when you're talking like digital music, like, I mean, do you use vinyl very often? Like, how does that look in your world? Like, because that's a whole other beast, carrying around milk crates and all sorts of stuff, right?
I would love to invest in vinyl, but at the time right now, I mean, the money is just not there for me to do that, especially after spending like probably about $8 or $9 grand on the new decks that I got and everything, which are essentially CDJs that I love to learn to play on, and also that I will be upgrading to CDJs because a lot of the artists that I've been working with that are at the show on the 12th, they're rocking it with those new CDJ 3000s. And I'm like, I want those now.
Yeah, that's okay. I see. I always wondered because I'm like, what is? I mean, it's almost like two different things that are happening. Like, I don't even understand. I mean, I can't even understand how to wrap my mind around vinyl, but I don't understand how to wrap my mind around, like, can you just kind of lay out what a deck is and what that means to people who are just like tuning in and aren't really sure what we're talking about? Because when I picture it, I picture like a ton of buttons and faders and things that I'm like, or these faders, I don't know. Run us through
Okay,
it.
I'm actually going to see if I can flip this around. Can you see the decks that I got there?
Yeah. Oh,
so
beautiful.
those are the new ones I just invested in. Those are CDJ X RX3s, and that's a girlfriend chilling out there.
Hi.
Michaela says hi. Yeah, so there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are essentially a slimmed down and easier version of CDJs. So it minimalizes a lot of what you would have to learn on, say, CDJs to use them, but it still has a lot of the same functionality. So that would be my recommendation. There's so many different controllers that are out there and everything that, I mean, I would strongly recommend those ones just because they're just so easy to get the hang of. And plus, you can run them through CDJs as well, too.
Oh, okay. So they're like compatible. Okay. So for somebody that's like young and is really interested in this, but maybe doesn't know where to start, like from the very get-go, like where can they start? Is there programs? Is there spaces or forums or people, like where can they from the very get-go kind of begin this journey, this beautiful musical journey?
So in that case, what I would recommend is that they check out their local like music shops and everything like that, like whether it be like a mom and pop's place or Long and McQuaid or whatnot. And just see, a lot of times they may have like older controllers. And when I bought one, I think probably about 8 years ago, that was just sitting at a play and trade in Campbell River. And that was like a $1,200 controller that I just got from there. And that they were selling it for like $200. A lot of places you can find like older like controllers and stuff like that, and just stuff you can easily learn to play on and everything, that'll be relatively inexpensive. And you can always use programs like Virtual DJ that are online that will also like step you through on using them and everything, and you'll have the different kinds of sequences or different kinds of just effects that you can use without having to spend like $3,000 on your decks.
I didn't know any of this. Like, it's, to people who don't live this life, it's such a foreign language, right? Like, and there's a couple of different angles that, like, as a mom, as a sister, like, we got these nieces and nephews that are coming up, and I'm like, well, I mean, I send them Calico or you or whatever, but for the people that don't have a Calico or a DJ Robbie Robb in their life, like, that's, I appreciate that information for sure. That's awesome.
Oh, definitely. And yeah, and also you never know if you go to like music shops or anything like that, you might meet somebody that will give you those kind of like tips or anything like that. I mean, it's just always just trying to find where you can actually just study music or even just get a new perspective on it, right?
Yeah, definitely. I remember as a kid going to the music plant, that was like such a big deal to me. I still know that smell of that building. I still know like the layout. I know exactly where like the desk is and the bathroom and like, where everyone's getting singing lessons, like those spaces once, just like it's carved out in my mind forever.
Oh, definitely. I got so much love for Music Plant. They're always great to me anytime I got like weddings or anything I need to rent a microphone for or anything like that. And yeah, they're still actually just a lot of their staff is at the new Long and McQuaid place, I believe. So I get to still see the Music Plant homies when I go and rent that stuff.
Yeah, cool. I didn't know that there was one. Like, when did that happen? Like, in Campbell, in CR, you're talking? Like, what?
Yeah, Long and McQuaid bought Music Plant, and now Long and McQuaid is just right by the Save On Foods here in Campbell River.
Wow, no doubt.
Yeah.
I always wanted to run like a rental music program in Campbell River, but maybe I'll just leave it to the professionals. Really, like it's kind of a tough spot because they need instruments to be accessible to kids there. It's such a blue collar industry, and there's just not there's a lot of parents out there that are like, I don't know, like, so they just don't bother, right? They're like, just join hockey or join soccer or something. But yeah, I think maybe I need to do a little more research because I didn't even know that story existed down there.
There's a lot of stuff that's opening up in Campbell River here now. I mean, it's definitely a lot of business growth and everything like that. And I'm working towards starting my own business next year and everything. And just, it's a lot more beautiful a city than the Campbell River shit posting Instagram pages and everything will make you think.
Well, and I think that's a good topic to talk about before we wrap this up. You said stigma is a good thing to help combat and to help fight. But what are some other things that we can do to contribute to that community and our communities when it comes to maybe fighting this battle with the unhoused?
Biggest thing I would recommend is just treat them like you would any regular person. And of course, like I said, that was the biggest thing. But also is that just pay it forward. I mean, sometimes you might see somebody like that just looks like they're really needing a bite to eat or something like that. And I mean, just taking like $2 out of your pocket or a $5 or whatever, and then just paying it forward and then just doing that for the next person, that's just grows as a community, right? So, I mean, it's just any kind of small thing that you do for a person could be the biggest thing in their life, right? So, I mean, just think any small way you can contribute or even help out somebody is going to be possibly mean to the world to somebody else.
I remember when I lost my brother, and someone, well, I mean, I guess, like, to be candid, like, someone took their time out of their day to be kind to me. And I don't know if it's because maybe I looked pathetic. Like, I was just sitting there just like totally lost and didn't know what to do. But it just went so far, like being kind to people is essentially free, right? And
of course.
Yeah. The residual effect of that is just absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, and that's like the same, and not just people that are just like on the streets or anything like that. You could be looking at somebody who is just looking like there's just something going on and everything like that, and just sometimes even just saying hey or just giving a person a smile is just go a long ways too, right? So I mean, it's just like always try to boost up whoever you can at any time, just because you never know how much it's going to mean to them, right? So
yeah, definitely. Real quick, I just want to take the time to shout out the folks in the comment section. Jeffy, darling, hi, we see you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Milk, I mean, honestly, I don't know if you guys have heard him do that yo before, but I could try and mimic it, but I'd probably blow my speakers. Hello, hi, how are you, my darling? Calico and everybody else, thank you so much for kicking it with us tonight. It's for such a good cause, and I almost feel like it's like a telethon, like, man, we'll just sit here and we'll just rerun this over and over again until we start getting these ticket sales up. But yeah, just like, it's such a good cause. So one more time for the people in the back and the people that just showed up, who run through Party with a Purpose.
Party with a Purpose is Saturday, October the 12th. It is going to run from 3 p.m. until 1 a.m. 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. It is not ticket needed. It is going to be, you can drop off your clothing donations for the clothing drive. But of course, anybody bringing in clothing donations and everything like that will also hook you up with a deal on getting into the show and everything, because you're going to love the show. We have like about 9 DJs playing from 3 p.m. until 1 a.m. So it's going to be an amazing time. It is licensed, so you can grab some drinks from the Eagles Hall. And it's just going to be an amazing time, and just looking forward to seeing everybody on the dance floor, and just looking forward to seeing DJ Allgood rock it out there as well too.
Yeah, shout out to DJ Robbie Robb, DJ Allgood, DJ Lion. I think I see Namaste in there, Acid Santa in there. Those, I mean, I might be looking at the wrong poster, but I'm pretty sure that bright, beautiful orange poster, like, Matt, there's some wicked names on there.
Oh, definitely. And shout out to your help on the posts that I had going on there. And sometimes my PowerPoint can only go so far for me. Yeah, there's so many amazing DJs. Acid Santa, of course, as you said, is going to be there. B Raven.
Yeah, shout out to
I can't believe how far he's come. He's rocking it, and I love having him on all my shows. Decant. Yeah, there's just so many different people. Downtown, there's just amazing lineup, and right now the tickets are only being sold for $15. So I mean, you can't go wrong with like 9 hours of music and so many DJs for a great cause for just that minimal price too. So
yeah, no, get your guys' tickets. There is a sale going on right now. Get in there and grab them. You can go on in the comment section. I'm throwing a link in there right now for that, another one, and your GoFundMe page with the links already in the comments. You guys go and check it out. Matt, you said earlier that the limit was a bit high, and it's 20 G's, right? I think I checked it earlier. And it took me a second to kind of wrap my mind around what that looks like.
Sorry, I'm listening.
No, it's all good. What I want to say is that because it's an ongoing fundraiser, that is not an unreasonable amount of money. The money has already come back into the community in big ways. We're talking 400 plus bags of clothes going into a clothing drive. Those clothes don't get bagged up and delivered by themselves. You're talking, 9, 10 DJs coming from, both ends of the island sometimes. That doesn't happen, for no reason. And so I think putting that limit and to shoot for it and to make it happen, I don't think is unfair. After this Party with a Purpose, obviously that fundraiser is going to keep going because it's like the umbrella kind of fundraiser for other shows that you have going on. And so once people kind of understand that it's like the fundraiser will stay active and the shows will keep coming, Matt.
Oh yeah, I'm actively involved in actually like building more shows where you can get more fundraising efforts, but also with the people that I've met from the city as well as from the business association, they're all in as well too. So I mean, it can only go up from there. I mean, yeah, that was a high number on there, but honestly, the number that was quoted to me was around that, and that's for like the program that was feeding everybody downtown all the time and everything. And it was sad to see that go from like getting like a meal a day and everybody was like so happy to having to wait for like a random Wednesday or whatnot and everything. And so that's why I put together the fundraiser as well too, because I just wanted to make it so that, I mean, you got to eat every day, right? So
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, so I mean, the contract that they had was they would have, I think it was like 5 days a week. They would have lunch and then they would have dinner. And then that would go to 1 day a week because then it was out of the summer months and it went into the fall. So, yeah, it's just also with these shows and everything, they're raising awareness as well with the Spirit Square shows and just raising awareness to like just how much more needs to be done as a community to help out people, right? So.
Man, yeah, if you can't feel that, like, if you can't feel that sort of shift, then you are absolutely blessed right now. Like, people that rely on that.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when when they got so used to it over the summer months, and then it turned into, okay, well, we got to wait till next Wednesday or whatnot. So, yeah, it was super sad, and that's one of the main reasons why I put together the fundraisers was because, yeah, I mean, it's allowing me to have a platform to do what I love, and that's playing music, and as well as, I mean, just everybody trying to help out the next person.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Man, I don't want to get emotional, but it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart a little bit. But on the good note, you got warriors like yourself out there doing the good thing, making sure that this happens. Rob, you're an angel among.
Yeah. Thank you. You're so amazing too. You've been one of my good friends for so long.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's kind of fun when you think about it. We get to go back and like to be just like a couple of kids and just doing our thing. And like, I mean, you were always on the hustle anyways, but to like, you know, just be able to kind of enjoy music and let that contribute to our mental health, to turning that around and showing people like why it contributes to mental health is just so awesome.
Yeah, and that's why I got so much love for you guys. Pinecase, you guys are amazing, and definitely love having you guys involved and get me on your show. This has been awesome.
Yeah, no, anytime. Anytime. No, I was super excited. It was important. I want to talk about Party with a Purpose. I was like, I'll talk about this until, you know, we're blue in the face to make sure that everyone knows what's going on. You're talking about your you know, the Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, that's the one. Yeah. And honestly, I think that's where we need to like come together as a community more often in situations like that. Like, man, it took me, you know, time.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, it was just a little bit of time. It's not, you know, it's not that big of a deal. And to like keep elevating each other and ourselves, like that's, you know, that's community.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. And no, it's keep doing that every day. And yeah, exactly.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I definitely want to take the time to just say thank you so much, you guys, everyone, for tuning in and checking us out. Like I've said a few times now, the links are all in the comments. We'll make sure that they'll be on all the reels and just make sure that it's really accessible for you guys. The conversation does not end October 12th after the party. The conversation will continue on through the year and years and whatever that looks like. We'll make sure that you guys are all informed. When you have people like this out there doing big things and highlighting local talent, I'll be shameless about it. There is no problem with that. We're talking about local musicians, you know, feeding and clothing their community, and that's what it's about. So take the time, jump in there, you guys, help however you can, sweat equity, clothing, funds, whatever. You don't necessarily have to go to these parties, but there's definitely other ways. DJ Robbie Robb has made it so accessible for you guys to go on there, jump on the GoFundMe, and help support. You can always reach out us. Calico and I, we're available. You know, we have our hotline going all the time, 250-289-3948. That is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So please don't hesitate. You know, we talked a little bit about stigma, and if it feels kind of weird to say something to your friends, or if you're not ready to, you guys can call us, hit it up. We do have volunteers that run that line, and we'll put you in, you know, the right direction, or just sit and listen or whatever. You know, we got that going. So please don't hesitate. And trying to think of whatever else. There's just so much cool stuff all the time. So I want to make sure I got this one and this one, because it's, you know, it's good. But keep your eyes out for everything that's happening and what's going to be happening. Thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. So for another episode of Pinecase, it's Cleisha Campbell, aka Casey with Pinecase. Tonight it was DJ Robbie Robb, and you guys, you stay safe out there, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.
See ya.
Giant, please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong. The further you take my rights away, I'ma run to it. Refuse to hear my voice. Speak loud when I spit it, but you don't get it. You just wanna be a side critic. See somebody else showing hate in the side of the road with it. Now how would you feel standing on the sideline and watch the color of a nation deteriorate over time? The flag real high, but compassion 6 feet below. Now you're searching for that justice that decided to never show. Deny my place, I'm back with a trace. Keep up the pace, tight lace, game face, get back in the race. Whatever they did could never be undone. Every dark night ends with the rising of the sun. Squandered every wealth that's built from the mud. Squandered every wealth that's built from the blood. Squandered every wealth that's built in chains. Stolen from the